It almost feels illegal for me to tell you this, but there's a new community in town that is making a big splash in the Colorado Springs area. In fact, people are leaving Colorado Springs altogether to move to this up-and-coming neighborhood. Thinking about making a move to Monument, Colorado? Well, let me save you a bunch of time today. In this video, we're going to talk about why this new suburb is becoming so big, and it's like the next Colorado Springs, but better. Today, we're hitting what it really costs to live here, what kind of homes you can get, how the market's moving right now, what the weather and water are really like, sales tax, and even the home rule thing that people forget about. Hi, my name is Iris, and I am a relocation specialist here in the Southern Colorado area. And if you're house hunting anywhere in the Tri-Lakes area, download my free Living in Monument Like a Local guide that is in the description below this video. If you need help relocating, I would love to help you. You can book a call in the description below. So exactly where is Monument and who is Monument for? Before we get into that, I want to talk about the Tri-Lakes area. You may have heard this term before. It's north of Colorado Springs, north of the Air Force Academy, named after the three lakes. You've got Monument Lake, you've got the lake in Forest Lakes, and then you have Woodmore has a lake, but it's not a lake that you can actually swim in. It's more of like a holding retention pond, but it's called the Tri-Lakes because of Palmer Lake, Monument, and Woodmore. And I guess we're just going to leave out Forest Lakes, even though it's got a lake as well. So it's just three major communities in the Tri-Lakes area. It's lots of different neighborhoods in this area, but it's really becoming something that everyone is wanting to move to. Now, Monument sits right between Denver and Colorado Springs, which is about 25 to 30 minutes to downtown Colorado Springs and roughly 50 minutes to the south part of Denver, depending on traffic. But it's perfect if you want pine trees, a little bit of space, some top-rated local schools, a clean suburban neighborhood, but you still want access to city amenities and I-25. Side note for my VA buyers, if you are contracting for Space Command or Air Force Academy, you will like this location for travel convenience. I'm currently working with a couple families who are military moving to Monument. One of them is retired, buying acreage, actually building a house. And then the other is working for Peterson Space Force Base. And they chose this location because of the views, the beautiful homes, and the Colorado lifestyle with all the trees and the lakes, the hiking and the scenery, top schools. And it's close enough to work for that commute, specifically for those two bases. Now, if you're wondering who would love to live in Monument, if you're the type of person, again, a lot of military families, contracting, or Peterson, Schreiber remote workers who want quiet and views, and people that are trading the Denver hustle for a slower pace without having to go full rural. Now, one of the things that sticks out for me is that it's more affordable than Castle Rock. A lot of people are wanting to move to Castle Rock, Highlands Ranch, because they want to be close to Denver, but they don't want to live in that crazy Denver hustle, like I mentioned earlier. Monument is really more affordable than Castle Rock. The average price in Castle Rock is closer to $800,000, where you can get something probably closer to $700,000 here in Monument, Colorado. Now let's talk about housing while we're on that topic and what you can actually buy right now in Monument, Colorado. Can you find something in your budget? I ran a market analysis just before recording this video, and based on actual data, here's the gist. For the median active list price right now, you're looking at around $800,000, and the price range can start between $400,000 to $600,000 for condos and townhomes if you're just getting started. Maybe you have a small family, you're not quite ready to get that big house, or you don't want something on acreage just yet. A lot of military families will have been stationed here and then they come back because they loved it so much, and they will retire here and then get that luxury acreage as well. So it depends on what part of your life you're in currently. A townhouse or a condo would be a great starting point for you. The average finished square feet is about 3,432 square feet, which is huge because in the Springs, you're looking at, 2,600, 2,800. You still get a lot of house in the Springs, but in Monument, it's much, much bigger. The average finished square foot, you're looking at around $246 a square foot. The median days on the market are about 69 days. And here's what all of that means for you. Monument skews more expensive than Colorado Springs. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. You have a lot of larger single family homes in newer builds. So you can still get into the area with a townhouse or a smaller single family home, like I said, up to $600K, but $700,000 to over $1 million is common for these updated homes that have more space and luxury, which easily pushes well into the multi-million-dollar range. And some of the houses are sitting on the lake, so they've got views of the lake in their backyard, which I'm not sure how I would feel. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you would enjoy, because with that comes all the traffic and all the people and the trash and the noise and all that. But I thought it was really cool to see some of the houses in Palmer Lake where you could just literally walk out your back door, go down some steps, and you're at the lake to do paddleboarding, fishing, all kinds of fun stuff in the water. But here's what's actually selling in Monument right now, so you know how to play it. In the past 6 months, we saw a lot of movement between $500K and $900K in Monument. Brand new builds are still moving, but buyers are picky on finishes and the lot. For example, there's one builder that is, fully decked out, 5-bedroom house. You've got a primary bedroom on the main level, 2 more rooms, so an office and a second bedroom. And a lot of people are doing multi-generational families in these homes. So they're having mom or grandma be on the main level with the parents, and then you can have the younger people downstairs. These houses are great because they can, fit every generation, not just that, but your lifestyle through the phases. I mean, maybe when you are in your 70s, 80s, you might not want as big of a house. But if you're having, family, or you're passing down that asset to your children, children's children, that could be a great way to keep this house in the family without having to move and different things like that. So really just depending on the finishes that you have, you could be spending $1.2 million, but that's, at the very top of the budget. Some of these homes start around $600,000, even a brand new house. And with the deals that you're getting on new construction, you can get a lot more house for your monthly budget. And you have to be very careful with the price versus your monthly payment, depending on how long you're living there. If you're planning to sell it soon, I wouldn't spend too much on a house just because you like it. It's really nice. The resale value could be different in 3 years. I'm thinking that people should now be looking more to 5 to 10 years before selling that house, because the overinflated prices, the rockiness of the real estate, you just don't know where, 3 years goes by really fast. And if you overspend on a house, then you're going to have a hard time trying to get that sold in 3 years. Now, before you go start looking at new construction, please at least book a free consultation with me, because there are builders that you don't think that you would need an inspection. But recently we did have a blue tape walkthrough, which is where you go in and you look at all the things, make sure the paint looks good, make sure there's no nicks or holes in the wall, anything that you notice in a house that might need attention. You stick that blue tape. You probably already know, because if this is not your first house, you probably already know how that goes. But for those who don't, well, in this one specific builder, we saw a ton of stuff that was wrong with the house. Unfortunately, there were some joists that were warped. It looked very sloppy, and the radon was high. So they didn't plan on putting in a radon system. Some builders do put radon systems in because they want to make sure that, that you're safe and you're not getting those toxic fumes in your lungs and getting lung cancer. So there's a lot of things that people don't think about when they're buying new construction. They think, oh, this is a brand new house, should be perfect, but it's not. We saw a lot of things that were wrong, and had we not had that inspection, we would have never known until 5-10 years later, when it's too late and the warranty has expired, or stuff that was happening behind the walls that no one could see. So it's really, really important that you do have an agent when you're going into these new construction homes, because you may not know what to look for. And you might save a little bit of money because you can get more incentives if you have a good agent that knows how to negotiate on your behalf. But we're also seeing a lot of the classic Woodmore homes, the older, more established homes with trees, right? Character. And these are selling if they're well updated and priced right. A lot of these homes are not updated, and people really want move-in ready if they're paying these really higher than usual monthly payments. And I know a lot of people are really focused on presentation and how a build looks, but keep in mind that they hire these people, these designers, to come in and decorate these houses to make them look insanely good, to make you want them more. But at the end of the day, when you're comparing apples to apples on which builder does this and which builder does that. They're kind of all using the same trades. It really comes down to management when it comes to quality of the homes, but don't get blindsided or distracted by all of the finishes or the backsplash. Those things you can add in later and get a deal on a house without breaking the bank, and then get a similar house to what you saw that you fell in love with because the marketing looks good. At the end of the day, it's all of the upgrades in the design, but a lot of these houses are built the same way. If you walk into a monument home for sale and it looks amazing, chances are it will go quickly. If it needs work and you're open to getting a deal on a house and you can have a little bit more time, you do have some leverage. It's not quite a buyer's market based on just the absorption rate, but it really depends on the house. With the homes being on the market around 2 months for median days, it's nice to know that everything isn't going on the first weekend like it has in the past. Let's talk about the cost of living in Monument. The cost of living in Monument is higher than the state and national averages. Housing is the big reason. Everyday expenses like groceries, dining, and gas are all closer to Colorado Springs pricing, but housing and property taxes, they all vary by neighborhood and mill levy, or essentially the tax on what everyone needs to pitch in on all the things that make this town run: the roads, parks, the libraries, and the schools. At the end of the day, though, it's all about perspective and what you are expecting. If you're comparing Denver's pricier suburbs, then Monument can feel like a real value and a good deal, especially for lot size and views. If you're curious about how to run these numbers, you can use my mortgage calculator linked in the description, or you can ask my lender to run a total monthly principal, interest, taxes, HOA, and any Metro District fees all together to make up that payment so there are no surprises. Now, if you're going to go with new construction, expect to pay that extra Metro District fee annually. They will break it down monthly, but I'm huge on buying a house that could need a little bit of cosmetic work that'll save me tons on taxes later down the road. Think of it as your upgrades instead of metro taxes. Then more of your money goes towards the house than the government. But I know a lot of buyers don't want the hassle. You're already busy with the kids and their functions, work, and everything else. So I get why brand new is better for you in this season, but just something to keep in mind as you're out there looking and comparing each house. So for your day-to-day shopping, Monument's combined sales tax rate is about 7.63% at the time of this video. When you add state, county, and the town, that's comparable to other front range suburbs. You want to always verify. Some stores and deliveries calculate differently. But for property taxes, Colorado is lower than many states, but your exact rate, again, depends on your specific district and any metro district or special assessments. I can pull a property specific estimate on any home that you're interested in. Just shoot me an email. But those are all things that people tend to overlook when they're moving to the Monument area. So the weather in Monument is pretty interesting. Monument's at a higher elevation than Colorado Springs, so it's a touch cooler, and they do get more snow and more frequent freeze thaw in winter. So you will get legit winters with a few real storms, gorgeous fall colors, and a sunny spring that can still surprise you with snow. Even though you think that it's about to be summer, you'll still get snow. And you do get mild, dry summers, usually cooler than the springs and Denver on hot days, but the best part is having a lot of sunny days even in the wintertime. Okay, so the water questions come up a lot. Monument pulls from a mix of sources depending on the neighborhood. Some areas, people have mentioned that they have hard water and they have to use water softeners. The taste is personal. The water is generally safe here to drink. Like I said, it's a personal taste, but plenty of people will use filtered or bottled drinking water. The best thing to do is review the annual consumer confidence report for your address, and if you're buying, include a water quality test when we're under contract. If you are coming from out of state, this is normal here. It's easy to handle with the inspection. So many people say that Colorado water is great, but I've actually had buyers do water tests and end up having to install a water system because the water was not the safest. All right, so speaking of water, you'll love Monument for the lake. You can ice fish in the wintertime or paddleboard in the summer. It's a hot spot for the locals, and even just hiking and walking the dock or downtown is great. All right, so Monument operates under the home rule, which basically means the town has more local control over taxes and regulations than a statutory town would. For you, it just means some policies like parts of sales tax, permitting, and land use are decided locally. So if you're planning a remodel, a short-term rental, or you own a business, you're going to have to check the town rules first. Some people think that just because you buy a house on acreage, you can do whatever you want with the land, build tiny homes, grow special plants, start a Christmas tree farm, but you will have to double check and make sure that your plans are going to align with regulations are. HOA rules, metro districts, there's so many rules. So why do people end up picking Monument? Well, this is the classic mountain suburb feel with a real community feel. You can start simple, grab a scoop of ice cream at Lolly's Ice Cream Shop in historic downtown. I recently went there, and I will have to say that they do have one of the best ice creams that I've ever had. It was very soft, fluffy. It tasted really good. A little bit expensive. I think I paid like $7 for one scoop of ice cream, or maybe 2 scoops of ice cream, but it's a really cute spot. There's a lot of different flavors. They've got macaroons, all kinds of stuff. It's a total crowd pleaser for kids and adults. You can sit outside or you can sit inside. You can wander the strip, pop into the local boutiques, the galleries. There's a gift shop there. And when you're ready to refuel, you can swing by the Black Forest Deli, and the sandwiches are so good there. They've got a lot of different things too, desserts as well. It's the kind of place where the staff remembers you after a few visits. You can go to Limbach Park for a picnic or a chill afternoon, or catch one of the summer concerts. On Saturday mornings in the summer, the Monument Farmers Market is a go-to for produce, baked goods, and local vendors. And if you're into artsy nights, the Monument Art Hop runs in the warmer months, and the stores stay open late with live music and pop-up shows. Now, you've got all the outdoor things. You can walk, you can bike, you can run Santa Fe Trail, you can hike Mount Herman for killer front range views, paddleboard again, or fish at the lake on a calm morning. And if you want more trails and trees, you can hit up Fox Run Regional Park, which is just a few minutes away, with lakes, playgrounds, and shaded loops. If you are looking for breweries or food, you can check out Pikes Peak Brewing Company. And there are patios around downtown for easy date nights, place to just hang. And if you want something a little bit more, like we've got Topgolf, you can race cars. There's all kinds of things to do in the Northgate area, Interquest, for theaters, more restaurants. It's great because you can have like the best of all the worlds. You can go to Denver, you can go to the Springs. Denver has a lot of your more big city stuff like Major League Sports. So we got Six Flags, theme parks, a classy shopping mall for the high-end purchases. And then you can also go to the outdoor mall in Castle Rock. So there's just so much to do. It's just, the location is perfect. Now, some quick seasonal hits you won't want to miss: the big 4th of July parade downtown, holiday markets and tree lightings in winter, plenty of small town festivals throughout the year. It's almost like your little Hallmark town, but it's also got city amenities. So it's not like, this very small place that no one ever travels to. It's pretty busy, it's right off of I-25. And so there's a lot of things to do, but you still get that small town feel, which is kind of like what Colorado Springs was for so long. And now Monument is becoming the new. Still very know your neighbor energy in the best way. Now, commute-wise, I-25 has had its improvements that have helped, but it's still I-25. So plan smart if you're driving to Denver. The infrastructure is still not the greatest. There's actually a section on the east side of the highway, which is extremely dangerous. They really should not be letting people turn left to get to the highway. If you are in the area, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. There's like a gas station on the corner. Terrible spot. It should be a right turn only. But I know that they're working through all of those things. There's always construction, but in any emerging city, that's going to be the case. So the schools in the area have a very strong reputation. You want to verify the specific school and boundary by the address. A boundary can change at any time, so make sure that you're good on which school that you want your kids to attend. Colorado Springs is known for choicing into schools in El Paso County, but if the school is full, there is no choicing in. As soon as enrollment opens up, the choice enrollment, then you want to apply immediately and call to get the details on availability. Monument is growing like crazy, so nothing is guaranteed with any of that. In fact, when I tried to choice in my child into another school district, I never even heard back. So yes, choicing is an option, but that doesn't mean there's availability. The school district is Lewis Palmer School District 38, and according to niche.com, D38 is number 2 for the entire Colorado Springs area, number 5 in the entire state, number 10 for athletes, and number 26 for best teachers. Google reviews said that the district has a safe atmosphere, nurturing teachers, and they could be happier with their children's experience. Google did remove the opportunity to read and write reviews for schools individually for some reason. And I should have got a screenshot, but I didn't, so you guys can see some of the comments from the parents. But I did Google it, and they said that they don't allow that anymore. So unfortunately, you won't be able to get those reviews, but the diversity gets a C+. Everything else is A's, B's, and 4 and 5 stars. All right, so in my next video, I am going to be going over practical tips for moving to Monument because this video has gotten way too long. But in the meantime, if you want to explore more neighborhoods to move to in the Colorado Springs area, you can check out the playlist that's popping up next. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe to get that next video, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget that I am a real estate agent in Colorado, and if you need help relocating to the area, feel free to book a free consultation.